Mr. Physics and Mrs. Chemistry are arguing about who has more momentum. They decide to have a car race. Mrs. Chemistry says,
"I'm going to win because I have more mass."
Mr. Physics says,
"Even if you have more mass, I have a greater velocity."
The momentum of an object is the product of the mass and velocity of a body, and can also be expressed as P equals to mv. Mr. Physics has a mass of 0.5 kg and velocity of 2 meters per second. He has a momentum of 1 kg meters per second. Mrs. Chemistry has a mass of 0.5 kg as well, and velocity of 1 meter per second. She has a momentum of 0.5 kg meters. Though they have the same mass, Mr. Physics has a greater momentum because he has a greater velocity, and velocity is directly proportional to the magnitude of momentum. Mrs. Chemistry realizes the importance of physics after round 1 and decides to take a break to learn some physics before round 2. She finally knows that she has to use her greatest velocity in order to beat Mr. Physics. However, what she didn't know is Mr. Math. Mr. Physics BFF's going to show up and... Impulse is a change in momentum, and it's a force applied to a period of time. Impulse is calculated by the formula. Impulse is equal to force times delta t. When Mr. Math knocked onto Mr. Physics, he applied a force of 2 Newton for 1 second, giving him an impulse of 2 Newton seconds. Since impulse is a change in momentum and delta p is a change in mass and in velocity, we can rearrange the formula to make F delta t equals to delta mv, or F delta t equals to m delta v. The mass of Mr. Physics remained the same. Mr. Physics has a mass of 0.5 kg with an impulse of 2 Newton seconds, so the change in velocity is 4 meters per second. Both Mr. Physics and Mrs. Chemistry refuse to play with Mr. Biology, so he gets really bored and decides to play with himself. He bounces between the beds with the same velocity again, and again. Momentum is conserved. The law of conservation of momentum states that the total momentum at the end is equal to the total momentum at the beginning. And the momentum of objects in a closed isolated system is conserved, which means it does not change. The conservation of momentum can be illustrated by the formula mass times velocity of object A at the beginning plus mass times velocity of object B at the beginning equals to the mass times velocity of object A at the end plus the mass times velocity of object B at the end. To be short, total P1 equals to total P. After winning the competition, Mr. Physics gets too excited. He crashes into Mr. Biology, who's just about to go home. Mr. Physics, driving at 4 meters per second and has a mass of 0.5 kg. Mr. Biology is not moving and has a mass of 0.9 kg, so the total initial momentum is 2.0 kg meters per second. Collision, Mr. Physics goes down with a velocity of 0.4 meters per second, while Mr. Biology goes down with a velocity of 2 meters per second. Therefore, the final total momentum is still 2.0 kg meters per second. Momentum is conserved.
Am I always out of luck?
Mr. Physics gets too excited. He drives into his own garage and goes down with his Mr. Physics driving at 4.0 meter per second and has a mass of 0.5 kilogram. Since the garage is not moving, the total initial momentum P is 2.0 kilogram meter. Collision, Mr. Physics and the garage stick together and goes down with a velocity of 2.5 meter per second. The garage has a mass of 0.3 kilogram, so the total final momentum is 2.0 kilogram meter per second. Momentum is conserved.